Welcome to part 4 of the tutorial. In this part of the tutorial, I'll be showing off some of the data that I've collected from U of T's library that comes from the TRCA. Before we begin, I just want to show off one more piece of the CanVec data that I think is really great. It's the road segment. It's really detailed, and if you don't want to use Google Maps, for example, if you're trying to create a final product, it might be nice. Something like this. Yeah. Anyways, the other thing is I didn't show how to delete layers, but all you have to do is right click and remove layer. You can also duplicate layers if you want, but I won't do that right now. Anyways, so we'll just head over to our maps folder. I've put together a folder that's specifically for TRCA data. It's mostly the same data, but one set is from 2013 and one is from 2007, 2008. This data comes from U of T's library portal, so it's a bit exclusive. It's not available online to the public. I'll just look at the 2013 data. You can see here that there's a few things that are of interest here. We have contour data, so that's just geographic, 1 meter, 5 meter, 10 meter. This 1 meter is extremely fine grain. So if you open any of the files, you'll see once again all the supporting files, but you're just going to take your SHP and make sure you open it from there. I'm going to throw it in here just so you can get a sense of the depth. So as you can see, there's a bit of a shape, and I've just taken the data to be sort of around the Humber watershed, just so it's not too demanding on your computer. But if you zoom in, it's just very fine grain. So this is better for those very zoomed in maps. But this file, I suspect it may crash your computer if you add way too many layers. So that's another thing you need to keep in mind. You can add as many layers as you want, but if you add too much, your computer might slow down or crash. So that's fun. And there's the 5 and 10 meters is a lot more manageable. So we have our ecological land classification data. Remember, you've got all your supporting files, but you'll just look for your SHP and just go ahead and drag it into here. So this is really neat. It goes all the way back into the watershed, as you can see. But we'll just sort of go to our zone. The important thing about this video I want to show you is this tool up here. So this is the Identify Feature tool. The data that is in these SHP files, it's not just the vector, it's also information. So what you can do is, if you make sure your layer is selected, it won't work if the layer is not selected, you can right click and you can open the attribute table. So this is the information behind the data, and you can do this for some of the CanVec as well. So if you click that, this is a huge piece of data, and once again, the broader TRCA region contains a lot. But what you can do is you have all these pieces of information. Something that might be useful for you in particular is to look at the name. So you can see different types of regions, and you can also organize them. If you click on top here, it'll organize the data by region. And then if you want to find it on the map, you have to select the entire column. So you can just click the number and then zoom map to selected rows. So we found that little region that we were just selecting in the data table, and it is somewhere far away. Anyways, you can see that that's a pretty neat tool. The other thing is you can look at the map and then find the attribute table. So if we go back here, we can use this identify feature tool and then click. So it'll pop up on the side here, some of the data. So we can scroll down, we'll see that this is a paper birch poplar organic deciduous swamp with soils of less than 100 centimeters or greater than 100 centimeters, things like that. And apparently there are not that many exotic species there. Interesting. So similarly, I'm going to open the these are my flora and fauna groups. So my zip file didn't open quite correctly, but that's okay. So this is the fauna. Just got to open that. So you go to your shapefile and let's drag it in. So this is another huge file that covers all of this region. So once again, I sort of cut it out, but this data is available for all of the TRCA. So if you want to look at what species have been looked at in this survey, you can look around. Once again, you can use this identify feature tools. And yes, once again, make sure you are selecting the right layer, and then you can click a data point to find out, okay, so it's an American robin. This one is eastern kingbird, eastern chipmunk, more kingbirds, hairy woodpecker. So that's kind of neat. Once again, also, if you click here, right click, you can open the attribute table. If you go to common name or scientific name, you can click there and it'll organize it alphabetically. And you might be interested, you know, what have they found in any of these regions, and if there's like a particularly rare animal you're interested in, or you want to know where something's found, like let's find where's the screech owl. So you can just click on one of these lines and then try and zoom. There we are. And where is that? Okay. So that's way up there. Nice. If you want to zoom in on what you were just looking at again, if you can't really find it, once again, you can just click Properties. And you can make the circles a lot bigger if you want. We also have our flora. It's pretty much the same thing as the fauna, so I'm not going to go through it. And we've got some watercourse and watersheds, which is also great. So we'll take our watercourse. So this is the watershed. Simple, just a boundary of the watershed. You can put it underneath the other data if you want. And then the watercourse is also here. And that's really, really detailed. I'm just gonna get rid of that. So you can see all the little bits similar to the Canvec data. And once again, you can also change things around. Make it twice as big. Let's make it blue. All right. Whoa. So that's a bit too big unless you're really zoomed in. Anyways. So here's natural cover. I was checking it out before. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that and that. So this is a cover map of Toronto, which is pretty cool. What's interesting about this one is that I think it lines up really well with the satellite, so you can definitely see exactly what's happening. So if you look out, you can see exactly, it's just those tree crowns where that cover is. That's what this map is. It's pretty cool. So that about sums up the TRCA data. I think it's really interesting, especially the toggle open attribute table feature. Yeah, this one's pretty simple as well. You can look at, what are their classifications. So identify features, very powerful tool, can help you look at some very specific things. You can also use that for some of the Canvec data just to get some more information on what you're looking at. So that about does it for chapter 4, and I'll see you in the next one.